Okay, so we're doing well now. We're on this section called strings. So if we go into the JavaScript folder that we created and then into the JavaScript basics, just as before, duplicate the last video and then rename it. And mine's going to be number 3 JavaScript strings, and then save that and open it up in your text editor. Okay. And then the title, just as strings. And then I'm going to delete the section between the script tags. Okay, so in the previous videos, we've briefly looked at strings, and a string is basically a section of text. So it can be a character, it can be a word, or it can be a paragraph. So let's start with the first example, and we'll create a variable. So the first one is going to be first name, and assign first name to be, in my case, it's Chris, with the semicolon at the end. And then a second variable of second name, and assign this to be my second name, which is Dixon. And we can use single or double quotes, it doesn't matter. And we can then join these strings. So I'm going to display these to the console. So console.log. And we can join them by joining the variable names. So first name, and then the plus, and then the second variable name with the semicolon at the end. And then open that up in the browser. And then go to the console. And you can see the name is just there. So it's printed both the first and the second name. So it doesn't matter about the single or double quotes. Quotations, however, start to become important if we include them actually inside the string. So if we were to have a quote, and the quote had text such as, my name is Chris, and we wanted the name to be in quotations, we couldn't actually do that. And then just change the variable name to quote. And let's see what happens with that. And then go into the console. And you can see that we get a syntax error. So we can fix that by going over to the string. And instead of double quotes, we can use a different type of quotes. So change that to single. And then refresh. And there we go. So we get my name is Chris, and it's actually printed the single quotes. And you can also do the same if you had single quotes on the outside. You can set the inner quotes to be double. Save and refresh. And there's a double quote, so that all works fine. So let's just get rid of that. So as well as joining strings, we can also join strings with variables and things such as numbers. So for example, if we had a name set to Chris, we'll do a document.write this time. So in this example, I'm going to join a variable with a string and then with a number, and print out the words Chris is 31. So I've already got the variable name, so we can add that, and then we can use the plus to add or concatenate. So we've got Chris, and then we need to add is between quotations, so that is a string, and then another plus to add the number. So we can type in the age, which is 31. So save, and then if you hit refresh, we'll get the words Chris is 31, but there's no spaces in between, and that's easy to fix. If we go into the string, we can add a space before and after, and this will print out the space in the document. So there you go. So that's quite a simple way of formatting a string. But if we had a long string, such as a paragraph, There's lots of different formatting options and escaping that we can do to make that look better. So if you go over to Google and search for lorem ipsum, and we'll just get some sample text. And in fact, I'll just copy the first paragraph. That looks like enough text there. So change the variable. I'm going to call mine paragraph. And then between the quotations, paste in the sample text. And then let's go down and we'll print this to the console. Console.log. And the text we want to print is the paragraph. So head over to the browser and then go to the console. And there's all the dummy text that we've put in place. So it's quite a big unreadable chunk of text there. So we may want to add some formatting to that text, such as line breaks, quotations or tabs. So we can do that with some JavaScript. So if we look for a section that we want to create a new line, so I'm just going to start mine there. And if we do a backslash and then a N, so we should get a new line after the word industry. So refresh. And there we go. So there's the first line, which breaks after the word industry. And we can just put one or two more of those in, just before it. So there's one. And save and take a look. Good, so there's another line break just there. And there's a couple of different things you can also do. We can also put double or single quotes within text. And we can also escape them by using the backslash. So use the backslash and then the quotes. And then we can do just the same afterwards. So backslash and a quote. And then refresh. And you can see if you look for the word that we just highlighted, we've got the quotes before and after. And you can also do the same with a single quote. And if you actually wanted to include a backslash, you just do that twice. So include two backslashes. So there's the backslash appearing there, and also the single quotes. And we can also add a tab. So if we wanted to add one at the start, it's a backslash and a T. And we've got the indent there. So there's a few useful ways of escaping and formatting text using JavaScript. And there's some more examples included in the sheet provided at the start of the course. And the last thing I want to show you in this video is how to find the length of a string using the length property. So let's get rid of the lorem ipsum text, and we can reuse this variable. So I'm going to use the name example again. So name equal to Chris, and then we'll create a new variable to store the length of the name. So a variable called name length, and the way we get the length of the name is by setting that to the name dot length. And then finally we can log to the console the new variable name. So save that and then refresh. And there we go. So the length of my name is 5 characters long. So that's the end of this video. And if you join me in the next video, we'll put this into practice in a mini challenge.